Here is a little video on hail, sleet, and graupel. A little background on this word right here. This is a real word. I promise I didn't make it up. And I'll show it to you. You've probably seen graupel before. You just might not have known that it was actually graupel, right? But I'm doing this work a couple years ago, and my wife says, "What the heck is graupel? You made that up." And I was like, "No, I totally didn't make it up." I explained to her what it was. And she says, "No, you just made that word up." So I was like, "Okay, whatever. Hey, Alexa." And then I tell, my Alexa just turned on over there. I was like, define graupel. And as it turns out, Alexa's like, I don't even know what that word means. I was like, Alexa, you stink. You seriously stink. So my wife still believes that I made this word up, but I promise I didn't. If you Google it, you'll find an explanation. So here's the deal. Hail, which we've been talking about, here's the basic definition for it. It's frozen precipitation. Well, yeah, duh, right? But you have to have really strong updrafts and a thunderstorm in order to get a hailstone to form, to stay stuck up there in the cloud, moving and spiraling around. And as soon as the updraft isn't strong enough or the hailstone gets too big, then it gets shot out of the storm and falls as hail, right? Remember, quick freezing causes the hailstone to be cloudy, and a little bit slower freezing causes it to be clear. And a hailstone can be a combination of those. You can get hailstones that are stuck together, which gives it this spiky appearance. And the record for our area of the country is like an 8-inch hailstone, like the size of a cantaloupe falling from the sky. Absolutely nuts, incredibly destructive, right? So that's hail. Now here's graupel. Don't get turned off by all these words, okay? Graupel, let me show you what it looks like first. Have you seen this stuff before? It's like really soft snow pellets. It's kind of like Dippin' Dots ice cream without all the flavor, right? They fall almost like styrofoam. They don't really do damage. And here's what's happening, right? You get, instead of clear sleet, you get this what people think is small hail, right? But actually what happens is you get this super cooled water. Remember the definition of super cooled, right? Liquid that's below its freezing point up in the cloud, but it hasn't turned solid yet, and it sticks to snowflakes. And when that super cooled water droplet hits a snowflake, it creates these little tiny styrofoamy like things called graupel, right? Watch for them. They come in different sizes, but they never get particularly large, and they don't do damage, but when they fall, they don't look like snow, and they definitely aren't sleet, and they definitely aren't hail. It's graupel. Promise I didn't make that up. And here's our last one. I want you to know the difference between sleet, because people oftentimes confuse this with freezing rain. These are raindrops that freeze on the way down, and they don't circulate back up into the cloud, right? Which really restricts the size of sleet. It can only be the size of the raindrop, because when it freezes, it expands a tiny bit, but not very much. And so sleet ends up looking like this when it falls. Notice how it's not graupel, although close to the same size, and it's definitely not hail, and it's not really destructive. It could just make the road surfaces really slick. All right. So now we want you to be able to tell the difference between sleet, that looks like this, graupel, that looks like that, and hail, of course, which comes in many different shapes and sizes, but is almost always a nuisance and destructive. Have a wonderful day.